All right, Terry, just looking back at your 2014-15 season, I mean, just a tremendous turnaround. You go from 5 wins the year before to 17 this year. I looked it up. It was the biggest turnaround out of any top 75 team. Just talk about just the takeaways from that.
The year before, in the spring of 2014, is something that we weren't accustomed to as a team, and I personally, as a head coach, had never had that tough of a year. So I knew going into this next year was going to be, pretty pivotal for setting the future for Tulane tennis to get back to what it was known for, what it had always been known for. So, to hear that stat from you is pretty exciting. I knew the girls we had coming in were very good. I knew they were hard workers. They really cared about their tennis. They cared about kind of revamping our school and our team again, and they did everything that I expected them to do. So, honestly, I looked at the rankings after the spring of 14, and we had dropped out of the top 200. So that was really hard to witness, and to get all the way back up to 47 this year just speaks volumes about what this team was able to accomplish once everybody was on board, everybody was working together as a unit, and really believing in the product. And ultimately, it told the truth about what we were about and what we could do, and I'm just thrilled with that.
And then I want to talk about, there was one stretch of the season where your team had to face 4 top 25 teams in a row. Just looking back at that now, what do you think was like the biggest thing that they learned from that stretch?
I would say the biggest thing they learned is what that next level is like, what that entire team looks like, what they do, what they do well, how they act, how they approach certain things. I think it was really good because my team's very young, for them to see that up close and personal. And we knew going into that stretch that was going to be tough, and it's kind of hard to know that you're going in that big of an underdog in those situations on the road even. So I think if anything, it just showed us what our goals were, what we wanted to really, what we wanted to strive for. And one thing, it didn't scare us, and we didn't leave there bruised. We left there a little bit more hungry, and that's exactly what I wanted to see from the girls, and they handled it really well. So I was proud of that.
And then looking into the postseason, you guys were awarded a 2nd seed in the conference tournament, got to the semifinals. What do you think for next year, what the team needs to do to take that extra step, get to that championship game, and compete for the title?
Going into that being the 2 seed into the American Conference was huge. I think we were very excited by that. I think we knew we deserved it, and I think we got there. And the day we played Tulsa in the semifinals, I think we just kind of went flat, just went a little bit flat. I think the whole season had caught up with us. We were a little bit tired, a little bit fatigued, and I think that's the one thing that we have to continue to work for. You can't really see an end. You have to continue to try to see past that. You got to try to see postseason, go further in the tournament. And I think that some of our clocks kind of turned off, and that's okay. I mean, that's something that you have to learn. You have to get better with that whole notion. And honestly, I think that's what it came down to. And playing Tulsa at home, who had just turned it on at the end of the year, had some really nice wins there at the end of the year. The girls knew it. All of my girls would research the teams, so they knew what they were getting involved in. And sometimes I think that can kind of do a little bit of damage. But I think we have to continue to look at big picture. Where do we want to go? We don't want to just get to the semis. We want to go postseason. We want to win the tournament, conference tournament, and then we want to, make a dent and then do the late season. So I think just looking at bigger picture, I think will definitely help us, and continuing to just grind it out even when you're just mentally exhausted.
Right, and speaking of that bigger picture, you did have 4 freshmen on your team this year. Just how would you assess their progression throughout their first year with you guys?
Huge strides, huge. And then it's not even from a tennis standpoint. It's from the way you handle stress, the way you handle adversity. They saw things that they had not seen in junior tennis. They had a lot of teams, leaning over fences, yelling, being obnoxious, and that's what college tennis is about. That's why we love it. That's why we do what we do. But I think more than anything, just learning that grind, the monotony of it all. You have to just be willing to continue to dig, and you have to learn that. And that's why they always talk about a team full of freshmen, that you're young, that you didn't really know any better. But I'm proud of my freshmen. I think they did a really nice job for us this year, and they're only going to continue to get better. Now they've seen it. Now they know what it's about. Now we just build on it.
And then one of those freshmen was Naz, who was an all-conference selection. Can you just talk about her year a little bit?
Naz is just an incredible kid. I mean, she's she always would come to work. She'd always get it done. She always worked. She wanted it so bad. That's one thing I love about Nas, is she constantly wants to get better. She wants, she tells me all the time, I want to be number one, I want to be number one, and I tell her, look, that's up to you. I know what you're capable of. Her skill set is tremendous. It really is. So Nas did a great job for us. I only expect it to get better for her her next 3 years. And so a great freshman group this past year, and the ones coming in are going to be just as good or better.
Right, and that kind of leads into my final question. You're going to have Epek, Jackie, and Meredith as seniors next year. You're going to have, obviously an established group of sophomores and juniors, and then you're going to have 2 incoming freshmen to add to the fold. Just how excited are you going into the next season here?
It's hard. I think you can ask any coach. I was talking to some ladies this morning, and they were like, God, gosh, Coach, what a great year. And I joked, I said, it makes the summer a lot better when you have a really good year. So that's kind of where I am. We had such a good year, and then I've got 2 really, really great players coming in this fall, Sophia and Elena, and that just makes me want to rush through the summer. Like, I'm ready. Where's August? Let's get it here. Let's get going. So Sophia and Elena are going to come in and give us a big, big boost. So I'm excited to get those here and kind of see what they're able to do. They're both playing some tournaments this summer, and best prep for the fall. So with those 2 additions plus the core that I have now, I've told everyone, and I don't doubt this, that next year will be even better than this year.